righto. All done. We're now on 8. 8?
Yep, we've got.
Now, he says...
Can we do this in 3 minutes?
He says we're doing this in 3 minutes.
Let's finish this meeting.
Right. This is hearings panel. It's just review of the process and tidy up a number of loose ends that Megan wants to assist us in, and I'm sure it will actually make it better going forward.
Okay, so
who said move? Yanni's happy to. Sorry, Yanni's happy to move, and Pauline's happy to second.
Is that what's on screen?
Yep.
So in the essence of time, I'm not going to go with my prepared speech, but I understand that there have been 2 clauses added. So is that what? Just want to check that's what's been moved. Has anyone got any questions of me?
Everyone's happy? Yeah.
Oh, just really, it's a comment really that if you agree that when an item a report comes to council agreeing to set up a hearings panel, to go for consultation, set up a hearings panel, you will put a recommendation there for council to vote on whether it should be a panel of the whole council or a 5-member panel. Is that correct?
Well, we can make sure that happens as part of, it won't be me, it'll be part of the substantive report. So
Thank you.
We can make sure to cover that off.
Victoria.
Small one, I promise. Could you just clarify for me, under the current model, if you have an oversubscription from councillors wanting to get onto a hearings panel, how do you...
Dude, I've never, yeah. And there's a pig.
Just bear with me. How do you decide?
Well, it would be nice if that happened. However, what I do is I look at, things like who's been on other panels recently, if anyone's got a particular interest, if there are any sort of conflict of interest, if anyone's got any perceived, bias, bit of a political balancing. So there's a whole range of things I take into consideration, and I try to make sure that it's a fairly balanced split, but which is why I think increasing the number from 3 to 5 might help with that perception that it's not.
Okay, so if we've had difficulty, if oversubscription is not a problem,
Yeah.
and we're struggling to get councillors to put their hands up, how can you justify 5? The increase from 3 to 5, please.
Well, but perhaps some members that have not wanted to maybe go on panels previously because they see maybe it's predetermined, might be more inclined if there are more members, and they might have more of a say in the decision, perhaps.
Wouldn't you agree that having more members on council, having a larger slice of council, may make it more smooth, robust?
Yes.
Yeah. It's just a bigger chunk. It's got to be better.
Okay, thank you. I think we're pretty happy where we are. So we have a mover and seconder. Thank you, Jan.
Looks like there's a hand up.
Sorry, Phil, I've got a question if that's okay.
Sorry, and there was one. Did you have one? Yeah, far away, James.
Thanks. And cheers for Megan. And I do apologise for my throat. This is really hurting me asking questions. So I'll...
Certainly us listening.
Quick question then. Why is... going from 3 to 5 is still an odd number, and in terms of feeling that someone joining the hearings panel when it might go away or they see it as a fait accompli, does that risk not still exist? And was it considered, and I know it's a bit left field, but going to an even number where that would simply mean that actually the members would have to talk together and reach some consensus?
The chair could also have a deciding vote.
So, yeah, historically I do tend to try to avoid even numbers because of the risk that there'll be a stalemate. I suppose what we could do if you wanted to go for even numbers is have it that if there is no consensus, it just comes to council having, the hearings panel having done the work with no actual recommendation, and then it will be up to the full council.
Well, I guess that's kind of where I was going with it, is that if it's say 2-2 for argument's sake, then it indicates that there's a real split there, and it's probably going to be a contentious issue that council is going to want to decide upon.
Well, I suppose that's an option for the council to consider.
Does he want? Do you want to amend number 5, Councillor Goff? What do you propose?
I don't want to be difficult.
I'll second it, James. I'll second
Just
Paul.
I just saw it as a potential circuit breaker. I actually hate doing this sort of decision making on the fly like that, so I don't want to kind of force it if there's not a will around the table. And on Zoom, I can't see if there's head nods or not. So
You've opened up a can of worms here, Jimmy.
Just needs to say what he's proposing.
What are you proposing, mate? Yes or no?
well, I guess if there was a will around the table, and I'll take your guidance as chair then, Phil, to have an even number. So increase the number of hearing panel members from 3 to 4, and as a result of that, it would really by default mean that these members have got to talk together and reach a consensus, because you can't just simply go, nah, we'll put it to a vote, we'll see how the numbers have got it, because the same problem that exists with 3 is going to exist with 5, where you'll see where people may have a perception that there's a slant. So if there's consensus reached, then you would imagine it would go through pretty smoothly at council.
I think Mary wanted to say something.
Council will decide on it.
It could have saved us too.
What were you going to say, Mary?
Well, it's just clear that he does it. Does he want to keep the minimum in there? But we'll just.
Okay, shall I just ask for people what they think?
If it's a contentious issue, irrelevant of what the committee or the hearings panels come up with, it does come back here and it does get debated. So whenever, and I mean, a number of us have been on hearings panels that has come back and there's been a different discussion and a different outcome. But I mean, so whether it's 1, 3, 5, 7, 6, it will always come back here.
Sorry, I think I haven't explained myself badly. I think I've explained myself badly. The council doesn't, can't tweak away at a recommendation from the hearings panel. We can either reject it, and send it back. And accept it.
No, that's the point of this recommendation, is that it changes that so that the council can change it.
Yeah.
Oh, so you can pick away at it.
So the resolutions today change that process so that council can make changes to get around the other stuff that you were talking about.
I should have read my speech.
Megan's going to.
Thank you.
Wait,
Minimum 3 or 4.
No, I appreciate you clarifying.
yeah,
that.
Megan's just going to.
Oh no, I said I just should have read my speech.
Okay, so that covers
Right.
what James was talking of.
Stays at 5.
Yeah, I think that takes away that risk. Yeah,
Second
no,
is fine.
sorry,
Yeah. Okay.
clarification helps me. Thank you.
Righto. We've got a few more questions. Yeah, questions, because of debate. We had Sarah and then Jake. No, done. Jake? You're done. Good. Good. All right. So Megan's put a lot of work into this. We've got mover and seconder. I'll put that in. Any debate, any discussion? No. Put that motion. All those in favour? Aye. Against? Thank you. That's carried. Brilliant. Now we'll have lunch. 4.
Back at 2.
2:00.